Happy Quizzy Monday. We are back and we've got a great show for you tonight. We've got some favourite guests returning. We will also have Lewis joining me as co-host. He's got some technical difficulties, but he will join us while we can. But we've got Stephen from the Cribbagers coming on, and we've got, well, I don't know quite how many, but some of Imperial's team, plus, if I'm not mistaken, Fatima from the victorious Imperial team of the other year. So got lots to be looking forward to later on. You may notice I'm not wearing my usual shirt. I'm wearing an Only Connect alumnus shirt that is available from our store, and I have that cheesy video to show you again. Have you been waiting for a range of quiz merchandise to come on the market? Then wait no more. Whatever type of quizzer you are, whether you're a flashcarder, or you quiz with pride, or want to celebrate great quizzes like Millionaire Champions, or Bill McCaig, the king of 15 to 1, or your favourite TV shows, or even your favourite YouTube channel, where do you go? The answer's loading. It's tinyurl.com/ATQ store. Yesterday was the 3-year anniversary of Don Fear winning £1 million on Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. And today on his Facebook feed, he was shown wearing one of our t-shirts. So great taste there, Don. So yeah, go to tinyurl.com/ATQ store. There might even be a little carousel below your screen if YouTube is doing its thing correctly. So before we go on to get our first guest in, I just want to run through a few things. If you're new here, welcome. We've got some people in the chat. Catherine saying evening. Claire Barrow, hello you, and everybody else as well. Steve Oldham, evening all. Gerard, good evening. Oh, Gerard. Oh, adverts, great. We all love an advert. Hang on, what's this say? I'm not complaining about your adverts, by the way, just the ones that automatically pop up when the video starts. Well, there you go. That's YouTube for you. So if you do have a comment or question throughout the show, you can put it in the chat and we'll try and bring it into the conversation as much as possible. And yeah, so before we bring Stephen on and just giving Lewis a little bit more time to try and make it in, let's look at the winners of What is the Question last week. So the winner was the answer was Liberty, and the question that you voted the winner was what request was granted to Patrick Henry on July 4, 1776, the day before he became the first governor of Virginia. His alternative requisition was also granted to him on June 6, 1799. So that's Richard Aubrey. Well done to Richard. Not a stranger to the winner's paddock, but well done, Richard. This week's answer in need of a question is Fry, and you can now vote at tinyurl.com/WITQ Fry. And on Wednesday, we'll take those votes, find our shortlist, and put a vote out to find the winner. So that's the intros done. Welcome everybody in the chat. But most of all, right now, welcome Stephen. Hello. Stephen.
Hi there.
It was a great episode tonight. I mean, it was tight, nerve-wracking. Without wanting to jump to the end, I will jump straight to the end. Were you dreading a tie break? Because as a captain, you must have been thinking, this is really, really tight.
I was concerned, yes, particularly since Helen is our main missing vowels person. It would have to be me to do the tie break. So in some ways, I was let off, but it was a shame.
It was a shame. And it was such a good match between two really tightly matched teams. Claire is chipping in commiserations, Stephen and team, so close. So, yeah, I mean, it could barely have been any closer. Watching it back, did it kind of bring back great memories or kind of, so close? You know, what was your abiding feeling watching it?
It was odd. It was a feeling of dread because I knew what was coming. I was watching with the family who didn't know exactly what was going to happen. And we knew, watching back, again, jumping towards the end, we knew we had a problem when we missed the last connection on the wall. And that basically was it. That was the difference between the two teams. And it was very frustrating because we should probably have got that.
Yeah, I mean, really, really fine margins, wasn't it? I mean, that kind of put it as you're 1 point down going into that final round. But, you know, all over the place, there was a lot to be proud of, I think. A lot of really good answers. And we'll come on to it, I guess. But in more detail, we'll talk about the wall, but the dialogue between your team when you were playing the wall was, I thought, really good. Lots of communication, lots of kind of teamwork. Clearly had thought about the strategy of playing the wall. Had you had much kind of sort of prep and tactical discussion beforehand?
We had a bit. We were trying to think that we'd try and see what groups we could find before we started pressing buttons. And I'd sort of was any good. I would just get on and sequence around when we find groups of 5 or 6, just to get it done while the ladies were looking for other groups. And that worked pretty well. Actually, it worked quite well on the first one, even though our first wall was completely impossible. But the second wall was more doable, and we were quite happy with the strategy we planned on it.
Yeah, and you executed it pretty well. You know, we've kind of completely out of sync, really, but that's fine. Steve Oldham is saying Twitter was screaming bull. Claire, Twitter usually is.
Well, that's fair. We were screaming bull on the way home, and I drove off. As you said, as I said on the thing, I'm a consultant engineer, so I drove off to a building site. And the following day, I walked around, and there were bulldozers everywhere, and it was really, really annoying.
They are just haunting you. Yeah.
Yes, they really are.
Yeah. And then a bullfinch landed on your fence, and it just.
Yeah. It was, and then I went to go and see a concert, and there was a Toreadors march for the bullfight, and it was just everywhere we saw bulls. It was a great shame.
Jeez, it's just it is. These things can kind of haunt you, but the good thing about it being a team game is that it's kind of everybody's in on it, everybody's contributing, and kind of it's it's never really kind of down to one person, is it?
No, and we thought this round was much better than the first one because questions came up that all of us could do, and certainly on the sequences round, which went really, really well. Sort of I knew what our strengths were, and each of us could do one of those strengths, which was really great.
Yeah, and everybody did chip in really nicely. Duncan saying, sad that the Cribbagers pegged out in the wrong sense.
Absolutely.
Gerard, never one to miss a pun, raging about bull. Pam, who's on this series as well. Good game, Cribbagers, chipping in. Yeah, I think your team had won a lot of friends in your first round game. And again tonight, a lot of very positive reaction after your first game, where you didn't play badly at all, but ended up losing. Did you kind of rethink strategy? You must have had a little bit of time to think about how you'd approach it for this next round.
We did. We had a little time. We went straight into the second one because we filmed both on the same day, so we had time to go and for the ladies to change their outfits, and I changed my t-shirt, obviously, and. We the only change we made really was on the missing vowels, where Helen made a mistake in the first one and then got a bit nervous. And we agreed this time, actually, no, you have to go for the missing vowels. There's no time to think. And that worked very well. So we kept up well with the missing vowels this time.
Yeah, I mean, no guts, no glory, because, people are so sharp. The teams are so sharp at buzzing in. I think that's, once you've decided that, then there's no recriminations, is there? You dive in. If you're right, you're right. If you're not, you're not. But the opposition are so good. Got Andrew from last series. Great match today. Love both teams. Definitely felt they both upped their game, and yeah, it was really good to watch. I mean, looking back at round one, you were down a couple after that first round, but it didn't feel like you were particularly struggling. How did that round feel to you watching it back?
It was okay looking back. I mean, we identified the wrong actress in the first picture round, which rather threw us, unfortunately, and then so that left us out with that one. But otherwise, we got the education question I was quite happy with, and I think probably the Wikipedia thing I had no idea. So that's fair enough. I thought we did okay, but equally we were still losing by that point, so it wasn't ideal.
Yeah, but 2 points is recoverable, isn't it? It's not the end of the world. Yeah, and one thing that people perhaps don't appreciate, unless it's changed since I did it, but you get one shot at seeing the picture large on your screen, and thereafter it shrinks down. And you never really get another chance to see it as clearly again, do you? So if you haven't spotted it, it's Raquel Welch. or whoever, Rodney Buse or whatever,
Yes.
it's tricky to then spot it later.
It is, and the screen is quite a long way away, particularly for those of us of the older persuasion in the teams, I have to say. I'm sure the youngsters seem to be fine, but it was quite a long way away to see the pictures at that point.
Yeah, so you could definitely be forgiven for that. I mean, I did like that the Derek Albert Rodney Raquel one. It's a groaner, but once you hear about it, it's
yes,
it's a good one. But you picked up a bonus the very next one, the place of education. So again, that kind of eases that scoreboard pressure. You know you got a point. You know you're not going to kind of be totally wiped out this round. So that must start giving you a bit of confidence.
That was good, and we chatted to the roadies before, and they'd had a fairly poor first couple of rounds on their one. So again, they were quite happy to get points. We knew we'd both would hopefully do better than the first time.
Yeah. Now hang on, what's Pam saying? Oh, here we go. I was going to say that, Gareth. I really struggled to see the pictures. I wish I'd taken my binoculars. Well, I mean that would be a unique one, Pam. But maybe if you get invited back for a Christmas special. There's also a lot of chat about whether you can play cribbage online, and there is a consensus that you can. Pam also played canasta, so on that bombshell. There were some nice questions in this one, I thought, in this round. Music question. Were you dreading music? Are you one of those teams that dreads the music round?
Well, I do, but Helen doesn't. Helen's got a wider range, and I can do some classical, but Helen's got a wider range. And actually, the music round was quite interesting because we knew two and they knew two. And so, in some ways, it was fortunate it was our question rather than their question.
Yeah, and being able to kind of retrofit it, and it was a nice spread of ages, I guess. Doja Cat, contemporary, got a couple of 80s, and you got 90s, so maybe fell nicely for a slightly older team. But
it did quite well. Yes.
Yeah, no, that one was good. Still no sign of Lewis. Lewis, if you are watching, say hello in the chat. Yeah, so 2 points to 4 after round one. Links. Now, again, you did really well on this one. The first one, the 736, 736, 752, 822 one. Again, like a lot of Only Connect questions, kind of obvious once you know, but you've got to spot what's going on and spotting the time and whatever. That's not obvious that it's going to be like monarchs, I guess. What led you into that one?
Well, so I'm fairly certain there has been a question using 24-hour clock and that sort of thing before, but when it saw 736 twice, then it sort of realised, and I'd thought, given what had happened, there was likely to be some question about the Queen, and so then that seems to fit. So we were sort of attuned to hoping it would come in. And then we argued a bit about whether it was 822 or 823. But fortunately, we got it right at that point.
Yeah, and of course, so when we know now, in the last week, it's been the 1 year anniversary of the Queen's passing. So was it fairly fresh in the mind when you filmed this?
Well, so we filmed it in March. So the King hadn't been crowned by that point, the time we filmed it. But it was 6 months after, so it was still fairly fresh. And again, you're thinking, well, that's the sort of thing that might come up.
Yeah, it would make for a nice sequence, there being a new addition to an old sequence. So that makes absolute sense. I did like, and I have to say, in this round, I thought Sophia in the roadies really came through and really kind of emerged as a key player.
She did.
She was ever so good. She did the what are we looking at? The Taken one, and she was kind of chipping in and keeping kind of people on track for the roadies. It just felt like you actually saw somebody stepping up within that team. What was your take on the roadies as a team? You sat across a studio from them. You probably talked to them in the green room. What did you make of them?
Well, we really got on with them well in the green room. We both commiserated about the result of the first game we'd been in, and they seemed a really nice team. And he said they got quite a spread, and says Sophia really stepped up in that and in the missing vows round. I think it was Cleopatra's Needle she got was really quite hard to see. And it was just it was quite nice playing against someone you thought, they're pleasant people. It's a nice little quiz to do.
Yeah.
While being competitive, it was all quite fun.
I guess if you are going to lose to people, then losing to people you like makes it slightly easier
Yes.
to take. But Steve is chipping in. Sophia was very good. I also thought she was very good in the wall, keeping that kind of focus and their discipline going. Any of these questions in round 2 that you particularly enjoyed getting? Because it was a relatively high scoring round, and you guys came out on top of it. You got 9 points, I think.
But it was. Round. I mean, the second question we got, which was capitals of African countries. I know that Liz knows all of that sort of stuff, and so instantly she recognised the capital. So then it was quite easy to work it out. That was quite satisfying. And then the one for the road one, again, it was satisfying to see what that was fairly immediately.
Yeah.
And then once the second one came out, to work out what the sequence was going to be of numbers. So it was pleasing, I think, to be able to get them quite quickly and get the extra points that way. And to be fair, I think the taken question that Sophia got was a really good question.
Yeah.
With that line, I was quite impressed with that question.
Yeah, I mean, again, it's kind of it's really got kind of absorbed into the culture. You know, I will find you and I will kill you. Or, you know, I have a special set of skills and all that sort of thing. It was, but you still got to spot it. You still got to spot that it is, and then think through the through the quote. And I think that one was Sophia's, and was just
The most annoying was the final one, but none of us could see the Wordle, which was. And when you see it at the end, you think, "Oh yes," but no one really looks at what the words are.
No, I mean, it rings a bell when you sit when they tell you what it is, you know, because I'm sure anybody who plays Wordle, they've got it on the 6th guess and it goes few, and you kind of you know that, but of course, impressive, splendid, and great doesn't necessarily lead you there unless you're paying attention to what happens in your kind of a run of the mill solving of Wordle, and it could be, you know, you got a monarch's sobriquet, you know, like the mad, the bald, or whatever. You know, you've got the impressive, the splendid, the great, and the, you know, the rubbish. It could have been something like that unless it rings a bell. So it was, but annoying when you realise actually it's something you see potentially every day.
Yes.
So that wasn't. What have we got here? We got Catherine saying, "I have never ever played Wordle." Pam, Wordle every day, and Worldle. In fact, Pam is the queen of all of these daily games. So if there's anything you want to know about those folks, then ask Pam, Claire. Haven't either. I spent way too long on the screen. My exception. Glad you make an exception, Claire, and we're glad you're here. Gerard, I played it for about a year. This is turning into Quizzy Wordle. And Andrew enjoyed the Wordle question. Remember, VCM announced she hadn't done it yet when we filmed her match. No spoilers. Duncan, not often I see Magnificent Wordle. Fair play. Twice I've got it on the first go. Just absolute luck. And Pam, I am retired. Yes, and you make good use of that retirement, Pam. But 11-9 going into the war, given that you started with 2 points in the first round, given you'd lost your first match and this was kind of critical, you must have then gone into the green room because you were going to be second on the wall. And you must have been thinking, actually, this is going all right, folks. What was that conversation like between the team?
We were feeling quite happy. We felt we'd now not disgraced ourselves, and if it all went horribly wrong, at least we'd done really well on one round.
Yeah.
And we're sort of just preparing to hope that the wall would go fairly well. But we felt much happier. I felt we'd done pretty much as well as we could do at that point.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't think, you can't ask for more than getting 9 in a round. Picking up, I think, all 3 of yours, as well as picking up a bonus. So it's just about as good as it gets. We've got a suggestion for champagne moment from Andrew. Loved Miss Rotherham. Oh yes, Miss Rotherham was the champagne moment. That was a nice one. Was that in round 1?
It was the misses.
Yeah. Yeah, always love a good line, kind of throwaway, witty aside. So that was nice. So we talked a bit about your wall, and it was Bull that kind of, is haunting your waking hours.
It really is.
But I did note down methodical technique, thinking about different types of question. I think, you did. I mean, you did solve the wall, didn't you? And it was just coming up with that. Somebody needs that flash of inspiration, whilst they kind of Victoria works through the answers.
Yeah.
Was there any thinking about, whether you as captain could kind of stall a little bit and
I didn't think that, and I probably should. I was sort of so surprised we managed to solve the wall, because we didn't solve it the first time. We didn't solve it in practice. So we suddenly, we've done that. Yeah. And then we didn't quite have time to think. And looking back, we had much longer than I thought we did. We probably could have spent longer staring at it.
Yeah. Oh, well, I mean, it's, you either see it or you don't. And I think if it had been Dozer, that would have been more obvious, but then that's why they wouldn't have used Dozer. So, it was tricky. What did you make of the opposition's wall? First time you've seen it, of course.
So we saw that and we paused it and had to go at it as usual. We got all the way through. We didn't know all the terms for the dollar, I think, but Helen would have known that.
Yeah.
And we saw some of the groups quite early. So I think to be honest, they're a fairly similar level of walls.
Yeah. Oh, I think it. I think it was pretty well balanced. I'd never heard of simoleon as an American currency term.
No, they did well to find that, but then they got it on their last attempt. So sort of, it was very frustrating.
It is one of those moments. It's along with when your team has the answer and you're across the studio from the other team and haven't got a clue, and you're thinking this is going to be a bonus, and then they fish it out at the last minute, and it's
yes,
so frustrating. Again, I think on this wall, I just made a note. It's turning into the Sophia fan club night, but there was one, even when it came down to the explanation of the answers, and that captain said currency, she goes, no, US dollar. And it was like she was really kind of on it, really focused. In terms of that sort of kind of team play, I mean, you'd clearly looked at, it could be words before, words answer after, it could be anagrams and things like that, etc. What sort of team dynamic did you have before you went on the show with the rest of your team? Was this a team you'd quizzed with before?
No, not at all. So I said, Helen's my sister-in-law and Liz is her friend who I'd met at Helen's wedding, I think, and that was the last time I'd been in the same room with Liz until we turned up on the day. So we'd done some practice online before. My daughter set up a PowerPoint and quizzed us with various Only Connect things, which was quite fun to try and get used to the dynamic, as you say, and trying to make sure we could make sure I listened to what the ladies said, which I think was the most important bit.
How easy, I suppose, obviously, you know Helen well, perhaps not so much your other teammate, but how easy is it when you're in the studio and you've got things kind of coming into your ear and you've got your own thoughts? How easy is it for you to kind of sift through and make the right decision or make good decisions as captain?
It can be slightly tricky. I mean, actually, for the wall, we're quite close now, so that was quite easy to do. We're still spread out a bit on the other rounds, and it can be quite hard to hear. And you don't really want to talk too loudly in case the other team can hear you.
Yeah,
but it's. I mean, I think that went relatively well in terms of identifying who knew the answers and moving us through. I was quite pleased with that.
Yeah. No, I think it went well. And then you go back into studio. First time that you find out the scores and how the other team did was when you sit down and Victoria says it's Roadies 19 and Cribbagers 18. And it's interesting, you said that you'd kind of had that talk about being more aggressive on the buzzer and going in. It was nice that, there was an incorrect answer, but that didn't kind of shake the team, did it? You still kind of stuck to that mantra, and you were level going into that final set of vowels. So you did stick to the plan.
Yes, that was the idea. Because Helen and I buzz fairly quickly. Helen's normally a microsecond ahead of me, And we had discussed that if we made a mistake, we just had to shake it off and carry straight on. And that was a good thing because Helen got loads afterwards as well.
Yeah. Well, it's you got six correct. It was just that one incorrect one was unfortunate, but as you say, there were opportunities, on the wall and potentially elsewhere to have picked up points. So it's not all on that. But did you have a sense of who'd won when it was like, by 1 point our winners tonight? Did you know which way it was going to lean?
Yes, we did. There was actually, you don't see that, there was quite a long pause between that while they basically added up the numbers to make absolutely sure they had got it right. But yeah, we were fairly sure we'd lost that. We thought we were fairly even coming into the podcast round, and then the second completely pointless missing vowel thing took up a lot of time.
It was a shame that Richard Herring's Leicester Square Theatre podcast was not familiar to any of you, really, was it?
No.
As you say, it did take up a lot of time.
It did. It was quite a long way away to see all the letters. We were definitely squinting across. So that was a shame. Yes, I'd never heard that podcast, so we were never going to get that, and it used up quite a bit of time.
Yeah. Well, it was a valiant performance. It was a great match to watch. Really exciting. Ebbed and flowed. Your team did brilliantly. It's a shame we don't get to see you again right now, but who knows? You're the sort of team that may well be invited back for a Christmas special, and fingers crossed you do.
We hope so. I'm sure there's at least another card game based team out there that we can create a theme. We'll have to see what we can do.
There's got to be, and producers, take note. So looking back over your experience of Only Connect and this show, the previous show, stuff behind the scenes, stuff on camera, what was your kind of favorite, your champagne moment of that experience?
I think actually the main champagne moment was realizing the Monarch's point, that coming across, thinking, we know that, they know what that is, we can see where that fits in, it all pulls everything together, and that was, you felt, okay, we're not in fact stupid, we can do this, and that was very encouraging. That was the best moment. It all went a little less well after that, but that was the champagne moment for me.
Excellent. And since this, have you considered going on any other shows as a team or as individuals?
We've vaguely thought about it, but I think it took me about 3 years to persuade Helen to come onto this one, so it may take a little longer to do it again.
We certainly enjoyed watching you, and we really appreciated you coming on. We had Helen on previously, so hi Helen, if you're watching this back. Sorry you couldn't make it. Helen is in America, but we hope you're having a good trip over there, and that we see you both, and in fact your whole team, on something in the future before too long, because you're too enjoyable a team to watch for us to not see you again.
Thank you.
Stephen, thanks so much for coming on, and congratulations on a hard-fought defeat, but nonetheless very entertaining, very well played.
Thank you. Thanks very much for having me on. It's been great.
Well, we are going to quickly play a video, I think, at this point, or a couple of videos, whilst Stephen leaves us, and before we bring on our guests from University Challenge. So let's have a look at this. Thank you to our patrons who support us on All Things Quiz and help us to keep running. Huge thanks to our community of All Things Quiz members. Your support helps us to keep this channel going. It pays for essential running costs. Now, if you want to become a member of All Things Quiz, all you have to do is go to patreon.com/allthingsquiz, and from £3 a month, you not only get to support the work of this channel, but there are a range of member benefits available, including our monthly quiz. Hope to see you soon. Also, don't forget to do this. If you like what we do here at All Things Quiz, then please make sure you click the subscribe button. Please also click the like button. That helps YouTube to recommend us to other people like you. You can also share our videos with others and click the notifications button to make sure you're alerted whenever we release a new video. So, we are pretty much on time in a rarity for this show. The one thing we don't have is Lewis, who clearly has been having some technical troubles. But that's not a problem when you've got one of the favourite returning guests of Quizzy Monday coming back, along with an undoubted star now of the University Challenge firmament. We have from Imperial College, Justin Lee, and we have Fatima. Welcome back, Fatima. Welcome to the show, Justin.
Hi.
Good afternoon from Canada.
From Canada?
Yeah.
Oh, my word. We are truly international today. Justin, so glad you could join us. It was such a good performance by Imperial, and really enjoyed watching you. Particularly, you had a great night. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 buzzes. What were your kind of aspirations going into that episode from your own personal performance?
Well, first off, I just want to get through to the next round, obviously.
Yeah.
Just survival.
And
survival.
Then just like, and then my goal is to not make a stupid neg or something, because I can't say I'm really used to this TV attention or anything.
Well, you're going to have to get used to it, Justin, because if you continue to play like that, you are going to be one of the stars of the series, and Imperial are setting themselves up to be a star team. We've got some comments coming through. Claire, awesome performance, Justin. Pam, hello, Fatima. Hello, Justin. Duncan, Justin was the top. Steve, the Imperial team were amazing tonight. Superb team. Oh, here we go, Chris. You're getting in ahead of Gerard. They were the Mint Imperials.
Yes.
You stole Gerard's pun. Not used to it, says Gerard, but hang on. But escaping to Canada is a bit extreme. Get away from all the fuss. Where are you in Canada?
Well, I mean, you do have to remember that after our final, we went to Canada, then America for a Quiz Bowl tournament with Justin.
Oh, right. Okay.
So, always plan on being super far away when this goes down.
Yeah.
Are you in a major city, Justin, or are you going to be
like
a superstar of a small village?
Kind of suburbs, kind of city. In Canada, all the things are fluid. You just don't get to say that, okay, so the king or the queen just made this a city. Well, maybe, I don't know. But cities are a bit fluid. They're not as tightly packed as in Europe or somewhere. I didn't really like it, but I suppose it's
very big.
Somewhere new.
Well, it's great to have you on. And Fatima, you were involved in putting this team together as a superstar of the Quiz Bowl / University Challenge world. Don't come on. You can't shy away from that being a champion. But how proud were you watching this tonight?
So I should say that I basically co-parented with Michael Kay because the Durham team didn't make it on this year, so he'd had no allegiances to battle against, if you will. Mm-hmm. So once he knew that for sure, he also came to co-parent, but I was the one who put together this team and put them through trials and made sure they did practice and made our WhatsApp group and got them all going. But I obviously can't take much credit for Justin being Justin. He's just that good. He's I like to say that Justin's like a sponge. He absorbs all kinds of knowledge. He did so well on the literature bonuses, even though he's not a literature player. So he just kind of the Alsace, the quiche.
That was lucky. That was pure luck.
So he absorbs knowledge, even if it's not his specialism. I don't know if you can guess what his specialism is, but can't take credit. He's just that good, and obviously it doesn't take much to see he's that good and put him on a team.
So how did you go about putting the team together? Firstly, you've got a talent spot, and secondly, you've got to think, okay, these are the 4 that blend together the best. How do you go about doing that? Particularly when you know that Imperial is it's going to have some scrutiny now as one of the big hitters.
Indeed. Well, firstly, we accidentally fielded one of the most Asian teams that University Challenge has ever seen. Not intentional. I'm not a diversity hire type person. We realized that once we put the team together, we were like, wait a second, none of this team is all of this team is at least part Asian. So that was quite funny.
From left to right, Asian,
but quite funny.
From left to right, Asian, half Asian, half Asian, Asian.
There you go.
Balance, as I said, balanced team. So yeah.
But seriously though, so we have a very like standard, well not standard, but standardized by our standards trials process. So we do a 100 question written test that we write ourselves with all the different.
We have to get started on that soon.
Yeah. Here's the thing: Justin showed up, and it was the first time I'd met Justin. But he did the trials last year as well as this year, and we genuinely thought he was cheating because he kept awkwardly dropping his pencil. So we thought, is this guy googling the answers? It can't be that good. But obviously he is. But yeah, so we do the 100 question written test, and then you have like all of the major like categories that you'd get in University Challenge. So
history, geography, random British stuff, miscellaneous, chess questions, all that wordplay,
stuff,
etc.
Wordplay, yeah, I like writing a good wordy question.
Very good on Irish history.
So yeah, we do that, out. And then they get scored out of 200.
Yeah. Oh, I think Fatima's frozen. Oh no. Uh-oh. Justin, anyway, whilst we wait for Fatima to come back, because I assume her internet connection's gone. From your perspective, what was it like applying to be on the team? Was this your first attempt? Because you don't really get many shots at this, do you?
No, this was not my first attempt. I applied last time where it...
Did I cut out? Sorry.
You did, Fatima. It's all right.
Yeah. I was like, everyone went black.
Okay, so I was just asking Justin about, applying to be on the team. So carry on.
This was not my first time, as Fatima mentioned. I kept dropping my phone the first time I made it. I had a pretty good score. I did pretty nice on the next round. But but they did get on the team, and because I'm a first year, I was a first year. I get more opportunities to get into the team and all that. So I just sat the year out, which is kind of convenient considering that team did not get it.
Yeah, and also obviously, when you have someone that good, they can only get better with years playing Quiz Bowl and joining us and so on and so forth. So we were like, he can only get better from here. We were like, we can give him another year and he'll come back even stronger and more powerful than last time. Sorry, you have to bear with me. My Wi-Fi, I'm relying on a hotspot because my Wi-Fi is a bit dodgy. So I may cut out at any random point.
That's fine. We will bear with you. So having got Justin and... I'm terrible for not noting down first names when it comes to University Challenge. But you got Jones, Haddad, and Debnath. What was it that made you think that's the right blend of people? Was it, strong subjects, complementary? Was it also kind of confidence and things like that? That they've got to come into play as well.
Let's see. So Adam, we played alongside for quite a while. And what I love about Adam is that he just works insanely hard. He'll write questions, he'll look up stuff. I don't know if he cards or not, but he definitely reads an insane amount. Like his Goodreads is insane. And he's just so well read. So Adam, over the past few years, because I'm pretty sure Adam was technically part of the trials that me and Michael Mace did. Like I think he was there. Like I didn't really notice him, but I know he got a few questions. And then, so he just kept coming back to quiz and kept working really, really hard and honing his specialisms and reading so much that by the time he got to this stage, it was like, he's doing incredibly. We can't not put him on. So Justin and Adam were sort of our known variables because we'd seen them before, and then they delivered also in the actual trials because obviously we weren't going to like, if they did badly in the trials, we weren't going to be like, well, they've done well elsewhere. It was about the trials.
That would not set a good precedent. Yes.
Exactly, yeah. So it is fair in that, like, we do, we do make sure that everyone has a fair chance and that everyone gets a good go. And then, so Surrogate, what I remember from him was him getting the film questions, which was incredible, and him being very fast, even though I'd never seen him on a buzzer before. So that's what I got from Surrogate. And Soraya basically...
Oh, great.
Oh, she's gone again. So
a wide range of knowledge. It didn't come up in this match, but she's a medic, obviously, but she also is fluent in French and Spanish, and is very, very good at Shakespearean literature and plays and stuff like that. And it's just a very well-rounded human being and individual, and she impressed us because she had to join the trials on Zoom because she was actually in the Isle of Man.
And nobody knew she was on nobody knew she was on the Isle of Man for some reason.
Yeah, no, we were emailing her, but she wasn't getting our emails, and we were like, "Wait, hi, where are you? Can you be here?" And she was like, "No." So we zoomed her in, but she was getting music round questions right, even though she could, barely hear from like the echoing of the speakers through the Zoom. So we were like, yeah, and she was. I was seeing all of her guesses in the chat, and I was like, yeah, she's got a very good foundation to be a decent captain. And Michael Mays, who'd met her when she came for a written test, said she seems like captain material. She seems very confident. She seems very enthusiastic, and she was asking a lot of questions. And I think she was actually reserve in her first year. So because she's a medic, this is like her fifth. This was her 5th year or something. In her first year, she was a University Challenge reserve as well. So it all comes around.
Yeah, stick at it and do enough degrees and you get on. What I was impressed with about her, though, she was two things. She was a very inclusive captain. So she was, really bringing everybody bringing the best out of everybody, it felt. But equally, very supportive. If you got something right, she's very positive, very kind of affirming it. Justin, what's it like to play with a captain like that?
Well, I suppose being a medic helped her stay calm even in such a situation, which is, a bit important. But yeah, playing with her was quite fun. She, I suppose, how do you put it? We conferred a lot during our training sessions, and I was the specialist on the team. That's why I got put in. I got put in seat 1, so I didn't really partake in a lot of discussions, since most of the generalist questions were not for me, at least in the last round. And yeah, she was a pretty good captain who was able to stay calm during. For all of us, our first University Challenge match.
Yeah, and it was. I mean, we skirted around. We haven't even gone to the game, but it was such a good performance, wasn't it? I mean, it was. Could you have? You said you wanted to scrape through to the next round.
Yeah, that's the goal. That we weren't concerned. Well, that doesn't mean we had to win the match. We were just focused on scoring.
Yeah.
So that we would get in by high-scoring losers.
I think Balliol were very much like when we were put against St. John's in our first match, in that they were a very, very good team who were just sort of unlucky to draw us, because I think against, so many people have said it, but against any other team, I think they probably would have gotten to the second round because they were very, very good. They were just fighting for their lives, bless them.
Yeah, I mean, it was an aggregate of 100 and I can't do maths, but like 420, something like that. I mean, it was a really high-scoring match, particularly in terms of recent seasons of the show. So it was stupendously high-scoring. Their 145, they ended up actually, so it's more than that. Their 145 is, that's won many episodes in recent seasons. They were good. They just weren't as good as you guys.
Indeed, it was a shame because I actually really liked them as well. I think they were a really good team.
Yeah, they seemed very, very likable. I love their captain.
That
Maya.
Eve Klein buzz was insane. Off that, like the beginning of that quote, that was incredible. I think that was probably the best buzz in the episode for sure. Like you guys got some good ones, but I think that was the best buzz in the show for sure.
Yeah, I mean they were great, and it's cruel that a team that good will go out. But I guess it's interesting for you potentially, Fatima, watching this, having been on a series which was less high scoring, and seeing the dynamics, because I guess the one thing that can happen is that the game can turn around even if you're quite a long way behind. You've got a lot of opportunity to come back. Amal speed reading ensures high scores.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yep.
I suppose
Absolutely.
there's a desire. I suppose. Well, that's my opinion. To return to the Bamber Gascoigne days.
Yeah, of just really, really speeding it up for sure. And I think that that was. I mean, you notice how fast Imperial were going, but we definitely briefed them going in. This is your first round. Just get as many points as you can. If you have to come back in the repechage, you come back in the repechage, like Michael K's team did, and they did brilliantly. So just like making sure that just making sure that you score very highly. So you could see Saraya just being like, we're going, go. I was really sad because she clearly knew James Baldwin. I think she just stumbled over the words because everyone has that at some point or another where they're speaking really fast and they blur a little bit. So I was really sad they didn't take her answer because she clearly knew what she meant. We've all done it.
I mean, it's a slip of the tongue, a brain fart. It can happen to the best of us. What doesn't happen to most people is Galician, Coral, Benin Bronzes, Serbia, Brutus, Alsace, and Chief Justice Justin. Those are a great set of buzzes. Which one of those kind of fills you the most with pride?
I think the first of them all, the one that started all of them.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
What was your first one? Was your first one Galician? It was, yeah.
Yes. Okay, so, I have never heard of that woman who wrote literature in Galician. I just know related to Portuguese, and it's not probably not Fala, the little language that's spoken by around 1,000 or 2,000 people on the border between with Portugal and Spain. It's probably something that people could actually have heard of. No offense to Fala speakers. So it's probably good.
Yeah. So good piece of educated guesswork. Fatima, when you're dealing with a team who've not been on TV before, can you train that kind of fearlessness into them? Because Justin, early on, you said, I didn't want to say something really stupid. But you always run the risk of that if you're making an educated guess that it might not come off and it might be inadvertently.
What you can do is just hype them up.
Yeah.
And be like, we know you can do this. Just go in, focus on the questions. Just go time.
Until we do. That's the thing.
Exactly. No, but the thing is that we believed that you would do well, and we thought that you would just get to it and just go, So I think it is mostly just hype, because until you get under the spotlight, you don't really know. And I know definitely that I think Justin's right. Like, obviously Galician was a great buzz, but also it is a relief to get a buzz and go, okay, I can do this. I am hearing the question right. I am understanding. I can press this button. It does go ding. I have gotten us points. Like, that very first buzz. I can't believe
how hard these buzzes are to press.
Oh my god!
What?
They're like.
Usually, back in normal Quiz Bowl, I just do this.
Yeah.
I have to do this with 4 fingers.
Everyone has a different technique. Michael Mays would pretty much just put 2 fingers on his buzzer, whereas I would literally do CPR on the thing.
Did Michael Cohn break his buzzer? Or am I misremembering?
Legend has it. No, he didn't break his buzzer. No. You'd think he might have done, but he didn't.
But it will. Talking of things that are pleasing for your team, as you having organised it, Fatima and Justin having played it, every single member of the team got a buzz, which must be a vindication that you've kind of got that spread, that you've got that talent. You must feel good about that.
Oh, very.
And that it was an art question that Saraya got, because we do have people specializing in that and working very hard to get an art question as soon as it comes up. So that was very, that was very proud mother of me to be like, we have successfully passed on our art knowledge, and she got that buzz. So that was pretty great. But I think that the actual bonuses for that were quite hard, because Bert Morisot does look like Renoir, and
yes.
Lucian Freud does look like Bacon, and a bit like Paula Rego is, I think, who we guessed as well. So I think that was Know It or You Don't, but it was very satisfying to get that starter. And Otto Dix was a very good answer. Yeah, they were all quite hard.
Because we saw that one in Toronto.
Yeah, we did, didn't we?
yeah.
In the Art Gallery of Ontario.
Yes,
oh my God, we did.
I saw it and I was thinking, people actually paid people to commission this. It was very distinctive, and that's how I got it.
Nice.
I forgot that's where we saw it. Yeah.
But it's I mean, that tells the story. It's one thing to have seen it and to know you've seen it. It's another thing under pressure to fetch that piece of information. I'm just more surprised that I had friends who unironically go to art galleries for fun.
Justin goes to art galleries for his meme collection. He likes to get all of the paintings of the weird faces and the people going, to like get a good meme of. We go to, we actually go for the like, art for art's
Yes.
sake or whatever.
So I suppose,
But he was always fun to take along.
You have rubbed off on me. I have to say that.
Yeah, we got there.
Have to
Ladies and gentlemen, we got him.
Tick. He is now one of us. Talking about your bonuses, then, were there any bonus sets you particularly enjoyed? I mean, Irish history, obviously, Justin, we've covered that. We've got some comments on that. But if I run through things, poems that open with questions, connective tissue, Haitian filmmaker Ralph Peck, fictional characters end with a name ended with the same four letters, sculptures, music, history, African countries, names that are currency. There were so many. Anything that you really enjoyed?
Well, I suppose that Irish history was pretty good, and that characters and authors. That one was more very educated.
Because we wouldn't have guessed Justin to be the one to be giving out the names. I think in that one, because I know that like Adam obviously reads a lot, but I was like, look at Justin with his books.
I used to read a lot when I was a kid, but nowadays I think my sister reads more than I do.
And I should say that I literally gave. So I'm infamous for having learnt way too much about Charles Dickens when I was on University Challenge. So in order to pass on that knowledge, I did like a 40-slide presentation to Soraya to teach her about Charles Dickens. We were sat in the sun in the park one day, and I just taught her everything she needs to know about Charles Dickens. So the fact that straight away she was like, Charles Darnay is from Tale of Two Cities, let's go.
That's probably the easy one. Yeah. I can't believe I still haven't got access to that PowerPoint.
Yeah, you should have it, and then you'd be basically invincible, Justin.
Not really. I still need to cart art,
that's okay.
Which I'll probably never do.
You'll be all right.
I think
now that you go to galleries for fun, you're going to tick that one off.
Just you'll get there.
As long as they're free.
As long as they're free, I liked I thought they were easy, but the surnames that were currencies was pretty funny, I think.
Yeah.
I enjoyed that one a lot. Oh, and your classical music knowledge. All four of you, I think you all contributed on that. I don't know if you did, Justin. I can't remember because I know you know a bit.
I got the Moldau, the Vltava by Smetana.
Yeah, that was it.
Soraya got Smokovsky, and the last one was
very obviously Sanson. Yeah.
Yeah.
But and then Adam got Rachmaninoff, so you very much all contributed on that one. So that was really great. I think it's because we didn't have one classical music player, did we? So we kind of had to be like, you all go away and learn a bit.
Same goes with geography, actually, considering we don't have Max Zung anymore. So everyone had to take their own stuff.
Just had to the grind is the only way when you don't have Max.
I kind of feel sorry for Soraya because she's the only British person on the team, so she had to memorize all the counties.
Yeah, it's true.
But I guess everybody has their own little piece of homework, don't they? When you've got a team like that and have to work on different things. So, it was a great performance. I mean, it's gonna be if the series hadn't already been filmed, which I assume it is now all in the can, but if it hadn't already been filmed, it's the sort of performance that would put dread into other teams to have to face you. What was your feeling going out of the studio as a team? What was the team vibe? Obviously happy, but viewing the rest of the competition, how are you thinking about it?
So I think it's it started with, oh nice, we won, we're going to the next round, and it then ended with complete silence, a long beat for, and then it's like, we're going to get dinner together.
They went for dinner, and then we as parents were like, call us, let us know what buzzes you got. We want to know everything. How did you do? And then then we had the reserve texting us the score and being like, so yeah, it was. we were just nervously at home, being like, what's happening?
And I suppose Soraya is from Manchester, so she knows all the places.
So she picked a good restaurant. Yeah.
All the local knowledge comes in handy.
Indeed.
We're going to have to wrap up this segment, sadly. We could talk forever. And fortunately, I hope we might get a chance to speak again in the course of the series. But what was your highlight of tonight's episode, your champagne moment?
Well, I suppose it's not to do with the episode itself, but I got well, whatever family members who aren't at work to watch me. And then once things get sorted out, I'll just get everyone, well, all the cousins over here. We're gonna host a little celebration, and as we watch it again with subtitles.
Nice.
With subtitles, obviously, yes.
Lovely to have that experience with friends, family, loved ones. That's nice, and be able to share that.
I suppose they are quite responsible for a great portion of my confidence going onto TV and just well, for more ways than one.
Oh, bless. No, it's always good to give credit where credit's due. People don't kind of form in a vacuum. You form in that environment in which you grow up, and the people who interact with you, and people who contribute to your life, and it's nice to be able to share these things with them. Fatima, what was your highlight of tonight?
Well, like I say, I think just like seeing all that, knowing how much work they put in and how much they listened to us and was really, really great. So Soraya getting the art buzz, Surajit getting the film buzz as quickly as I knew he would the moment he realized it was Drive My Car and Mulholland Drive. Like that was sort of bread and butter questions, the kind of question I would have written for them for sure. Adam getting a KC because he knew from Kimberly Crenshaw, who's the woman who coined the term intersectionality, but then he was sure when they mentioned Kate Chopin, the short story writer. Again, it's like a question I would have written for them and they got it immediately. So I was really happy for them. And I think, well, Justin just Justining, as I do. But yeah, I think the Alsace bus was inspired. And on the other team, I think what I was pleasantly surprised by, because it doesn't reflect in the score, obviously, is how good the other team were. The Eve Klein buzz, the ABC Murders buzz was wonderful.
Yeah, they had a little fun at the end, and
they had some really, really good buzzes. So I think it was nice to see them. So kind of like spread out. I was just kind of proud for everyone on screen for like doing their bit, and just like it was a really, really good match to watch.
Yeah, it really was. Sorry, Justin.
Oh, nothing.
Okay. Duncan says, my highlight was Bailey was captain saying West Ham in the style of a handbag. I loved it. I thought he was brilliant. I thought he was...
handbag?
I don't think we would have gotten that either.
I think the 44 days thing, there was some discussion up here, Gerard. I was impressed that writers found 3 things that lasted 44. To be fair, Brian Clough at Leeds was the first thing that came to mind for me, but that's watching the Damned United and growing up with a brother who was a Leeds United fan. Simon,
I
suppose.
All the Football Manager knowledge doesn't really cover things that happened in the last century. Was it in the last century?
It was last century. It would have been the early 1970s. So yeah, you can be forgiven. It's
yeah, we're too young for this.
Yeah. But just don't say before my time.
He knows everything.
We've got one other comment, which, well, poker face, Justin and Fatima. Poker face. Good luck on your march to the final, Imperial.
I think that's more of an Imperial march like pun, right?
That could be a pun.
Star Wars.
I don't know.
That's so basically the Darth Vader theme from Star Wars is called the Imperial March.
Yes, that was from
Star
Wars.
That's why. Me and Michael Mays once entered a film tournament where our team name together was Mint and March, because Imperial Mint and Imperial March. It's the very only correct way of submitting a team name.
Either way, we look forward to seeing Imperial again. You're a fantastic team tonight. You are going to be a team to watch. Based on that form, who would bet against you? We have seen at least one other team scoring very, very heavily. So we'll see how the draw comes this time round for the next round. But we look forward to it. So thank you so much, Justin, for coming on for the first time. Fatima for coming on for, I don't know how many times, but it's always a joy.
We've lost count.
Always an absolute joy. You are welcome to stay around if you would like to, whilst we cover Mastermind very briefly. I
did not watch Mastermind, no.
Yeah, so if you want to slope away now, then feel free. But thanks so much for coming on, both of you.
Yes, thanks, Gareth. Thanks for inviting us.
No, thanks so much for coming on, and you'll be hearing from me again That's for sure. Cheers.
Bye.
Goodbye.
Bye. So, Mastermind. Whoa, hello. Have I? Here we go. So, going into tonight's Mastermind, these were the most popular predictions for the Mastermind prediction game. Did any of them come up? Well, actually, we had some nice heavy scoring tonight. Huang Yi, our All Things Quiz member from Ningbo in China, got 4 points correct. Well done to Yi. Steve Oldham, who was complaining earlier that he was predictable because he got 4 of these of the most popular guesses. Well, he scored 3 points, so well done, Steve. 2 points to Pam, Paul, Toby, and Tom. 1 point to Ed Mason and Philip Isaac. So well done, all of you. This is what the leaderboard looks like now. Ed Mason is still number 1 after 3 weeks. Pam and Tom are nipping at his heels. It's all still very tight. Yi has moved hugely up the leaderboard to be equal 4th with Philip Isaac. And you can see the rest there. There are still 28 episodes to go, loads and loads of points. So if you want to play, the predictions are now open for next week. These are the topics: Chelsea FC in the Premier League, Franz Kafka, Anglo-Saxon England, and Harry Styles. You can submit your predictions at tinyurl.com/mm-predict-23 now. Predictions are open. You got till Sunday evening to get your predictions in. And I can see there's some whooping going on from Paul. Yay from Steve. Paul, you probably are on the leaderboard. We'll check all of that anyway. Gerard, when I saw my name spelled like that, I grew. Well, we put all of this together kind of on the fly tonight. So we will be double checking everything as well. And if you think there's a point missed here or there, then let us know. It's a bit of fun, but we want to make sure we get it right. Now, in terms of the Mastermind episode, Pam's put a comment up here. My friend Bernie did Nijinsky. She's been a ballet fan all her life, but there wasn't a specific reference book for her to work from. If you watched the episode, it was not nice to watch seeing Bernie struggle in that round, because she clearly did have an affinity and a love for the subject matter, but she only managed to pick up 2 points. Her guesses were not wild, crazy guesses. She just kept hitting the post. What we did see was some very strong performances from Peter Wilson, Madeline Roper, and also Thomas Nelson. And they set themselves up very well. Roger Federer, Gavin and Stacey, and Sergio Leone Westerns. When it came to general knowledge, we saw 2 phenomenal general knowledge rounds. Thomas Nelson picking up 16 points, and Peter Wilson just doing enough, getting 15 points to get the win. As you say, good score from the winner, Pam. And what have we got here? Chris Dyson, personal champagne moment. Personal champagne, getting the find something you find in desserts. Oh, that's back to University Challenge. Oh yes, top answer that. Another example of why there should be a high-scoring playoff for the second semi-final place. So that's Mastermind. Yeah, no repechage, no high-scoring losers going through. So we don't see Thomas Nelson again, which is pity. He played really, really well. It was a very good episode of Mastermind. There was some great games play. People not wanting to pass. So what was the name of the cart that took people to the guillotine? The guillotine cart. What's the name of the park in Vancouver, Canada? It's Vancouver Park. We had John Smith twice. Some really good, astute players, but there can only be one winner. So congratulations to Peter, who we may have on the show coming up in a future week. We will see. So the news from the world of quiz in the last week. Quiz of the week last week was Eleanor Ayres for her win in her Brain of Britain heat. I should say there will be spoilers. If you don't want spoilers, then click off now. But Eleanor Ayres won Brain of Britain's last week. She came first. She beat the new and retaining his title as British quiz champion, Pat Gibson, into second place. Sadie D'Souza, who won her heat of Mastermind, came third. Team of the week was Video Nasties from Only Connect. Second was Just a Quizzlebit, who won the Quiz League London Summer Friendly League. And third was Colin Daffin and Steve Hoare, who won Pointless and got 3 pointless answers in the final. Pam says she's off. She doesn't want spoilers. See you, Pam. And moving on to the next one. So, nominees this week for Team of the Week. It's a little bit small, but I can just about read it. Hugh Bennett got 13 out of 15 in Mimir as well. He's one of a number to do that. Scott Blish also did. Brian Craythorne got a full house in Online Quiz League this week, and he was in Brain of Britain today. He was the runner-up, but still a very good performance by him. Patrick Friel won the online competition known as Learned League. They had there's 20-odd thousand people play Learned League, and Patrick played in the finals of the top 600 or so players, and he came out winner. So well done to Patrick for being Learned League champion. Tim Hall got 14 out of 15 in Pop Culture Challenge, the best performance of the week there. Jill Hollis won that heated Brain of Britain that Brian Craythorne was in, so well done to her. Subrat M and Dylan Myrick both got 13 out of 15 in Mimir as well. Ewan Monroe got a full house in Online Quiz League. Tonight's Mastermind winner, which is Peter Wilson, gets a nomination, and Rowan Ward got 13 out of 15 in Mimir as well. Team of the Week nominees, Julia, Brian, and Laura. Now, if you haven't seen this, last Thursday on The Chase, this team of three won £120,000, which I believe might be the highest amount ever won on the UK version of The Chase. Julia is one of our All Things Quiz members, so delighted to see her win. And it was a brilliant episode, beating Mark the Beast Lebet in the process. Well done to them. This weekend saw SporkleCon in America and Neutral Milf Hotel, the dominant team in OQL USA. They won the Battle of the Brains, a nice healthy check to boot, so well done to them. Roadies won tonight's Only Connect. The Motley Crew were the top scorers in OQL last week. The XY Factor were the top scorers in the highest aggregate Quiz Nations Asia Pacific match last week. And Imperial College, we've just been speaking to them. They won University Challenges Heat. So you can now vote at tinyurl.com/QW11sep23 and get your votes in by Friday evening. Catherine, at Mark, still scared of him. So yes, get your nominations in. You can get your votes in. You can also nominate at tinyurl.com/ATQ nominations. That is the standard address, and you can get nominations in and shout outs if somebody deserves a shout out. Breaking news, well, upcoming events. We've got a Quiz Bowl tournament 16th of September. That's online. Look for the UK Quiz Bowl website or Facebook page for that. If you're in Croatia this weekend, the Mirko Mircic Memorial is happening. The Online Quiz League Individual Championships on 23rd of September. It's a written quiz, as is 7th of October, the Quizzing Grand Prix. There's another Quiz Bowl tournament. This will be in person. That's on the 28th of October. And the International Quizzing Championships in Torremolinos, Spain at the start of November. I think there's about 3 weeks left to register for that. Don't forget, down below, we've got a link tree address. So if you want to find all the links related to All Things Quiz, you can find it there. And open for applications, we've still got OQL USA at quizcentral.net and UK TV opportunities at the Contestant Hub Facebook group. Gerard, are you really off to sunny Spain, or are you just singing a song? Maybe we'll see you in Torremolinos. Next up, that's the Chinese competition. Let's screen grab that and move on. And I think that is it, because we haven't got any shout-outs this week. So, that was the news from the world of quiz. Thank you so much to our guests this week for coming on and chatting to us. Oh, Gerard, breaking news. Gerard is going, he is singing, and he is going to Torremolinos. So, yes, thank you to everybody for watching. Thanks to our guests tonight. Been fantastic guests. Sorry we didn't bring you Lewis Jones tonight. We hope to have him back with us next week. I know next week we have Julia, fresh from that The Chase win. She's going to be coming on. So we haven't talked about The Chase before on the show. So we're going to have a Chase winner talking about that. We may have a Mastermind winner as well. And we'll see who else we can rustle up. Don't forget to vote for What Is the Question at tinyurl.com/WITQFry. And don't forget to vote for Quizzer and Team of the Week at tinyurl.com/QW11sep23. We'll be back next week. Have a fantastic week. Oh, hang on, Caroline. Julia is my heroine. She's lovely. And really pleased for her. And we'll be pleased for her all the way through to next week when we get to chat to her about it. Have a fantastic week. We will see you again soon. Goodbye, everybody.